song because we like super loud. Okay, we on.
Okay.
Listen, God bless you, family. Praise the Lord. God is truly good. He is worthy to be praised. We are having solid talk tonight. My name is Brother Greg. This is Speaking Out Loud in Depth. I want to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves. I'm Greg.
I'm Sister Torrance.
I'm Sister Brittany.
I'm Steph.
All right, praise the Lord. So, and then we have a super special guest.
Yeah, this
Eden.
you
Oh, you can't
her.
even see her on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
baby here.
Yeah, so Torrance has to get up. You guys know why.
Yeah.
But, God is just so good, and we decided to come on tonight kind of impromptu, and I figured, this would be a good opportunity to talk about something that I don't really discuss very much on this channel, because to some degree I think it's a little bit above my pay grade. So I decided to call for backup tonight. And we're asking this question and having this discussion. What is modesty? What is modesty? And I apologize for us being on late. Once again, this was impromptu. But God bless everyone that's joining in. Sister Tatiana, Chevelle, Sister Roxanne, Sister Nicole. Praise the Lord. So we're going to get right into it. Once again, I said this is one of them things where I kind of stay in my lane, but I'm just going to pose the question to you guys, and anybody can just kind of pick up the ball and start running. But I'm just asking the question just straight up. What is modesty? Like, what is it? And I don't know who wants to start or what.
That's a multifaceted question.
Yeah, it's
is.
like layers to that.
Yes, it's a
Different
lot
people
too.
have different definitions of modesty.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to think of like what the Bible says about modesty. I forgot the verse or the book that it was in. But I don't even know if that's necessarily the case. I'm thinking of when I first was introduced to modesty as a babe. I think they used the verse where I think it's the head covering around that area where they kind of use that to talk to women about modesty, as far as like women or wives being quiet in the church and things like that. Modesty might be different according to the time as well. Like we don't wear the same things now that we did before. So like we're not walking around with like in sackcloth or anything like that now. But we can still be modest now. But again, there's different definitions of that. Some people think, just wear skirts, and they gotta be below the knee. Some people think you can wear what you want, just not outrageous. Or even like if you wear perfume, be modest about your perfume or cologne. If you get, I guess, like a weave, be modest with the length. Things like that. So there's like layers to it.
So when you say there's layers to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say it's a dynamic question,
Right?
Is there one actual answer, or is this something that pertains to folks individually? Like,
I think individually.
Is there a depth? So you think it's case by case?
Yeah, because modesty, I mean, you could tailor it to like what you wear, how much you wear, but it's really like it deals with the heart. So you can wear what we would say is, you can wear what we say is modest, but your heart is still not modest. You don't have the heart of a modest woman, or yeah. So
The cleansing, the inner cleansing.
yeah, so I think it's individual, because a woman might go through a season where she can wear no makeup, and another woman could go through a season where she only wears, I don't know, skirts or something like that, for whatever reason God tells them for that time, to make them a modest woman, to make their heart modest according to what He feels is appropriate for that person. So that's why I think it's individual.
Okay, so let me ask this question then. If I'm just gonna be asking questions on this, yeah,
Clearly, right?
But let me ask this question then. So, I definitely agree that it is possible for a person to not have a modest heart, but to wear modest clothing.
Yeah.
Okay, because that would just make that person religious.
Yeah.
My question is it possible for a woman who does have a modest heart to wear immodest clothing?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So what you're saying is that the condition of a woman's heart is going to reflect in her clothing,
Right,
in some way.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think so.
Okay.
Just like the Bible says, you'll know them by their fruit, in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that's a form of fruit, in my opinion. If your heart is modest and you have had that sanctification process started with the Lord, and I believe that it is case by case, like individual, because where I am may be different from how the Lord is dealing with Brittany about modesty versus how He's dealing with Torrance in her season about modesty. Like, so I do believe it's individual, but I believe it should be organic.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
sometimes I believe that there is a standard of modesty, like for the body entirely, but then there's also individual standards of modesty or dealings with modesty pertaining to individual women. Like, God may feel as though, she struggled in the past with wearing makeup. So for this season, Torrance, I don't want you to have makeup. I don't want you to wear that. And then when He cleanses her heart or does a work of sanctification in her regarding her motive for wearing makeup, then He may allow her after that time to resume wearing it, or whatever the case may be, or wear it in moderation, or however. I think it's specific. It's catered to each person. For me, there was a season where the Lord told me not to wear makeup and jewelry, because I used to accessorize a lot. And I used to wear like full faces of makeup, foundation, and the whole works. But yeah, that was for a season. I don't feel like that now, obviously. But I do believe that it should be organic, and I don't think that anyone should impose how the Lord's dealing with them, or their condemnation, their personal condemnation, or how the Lord is not condemnation but convictions. On anyone else. Some women feel like you shouldn't wear pants at all. Or, or you shouldn't wear a certain type of pants at all.
Right.
But I believe if you're doing it in a modest manner, meaning you're covered, it's not to entice, it's not to seduce. Your heart is pure.
Yeah.
You're not going out with the intention of being a sexual assassin, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they be out there.
They do.
They be out there. And just like they're sexual assassins, they're also sexual predators, right?
Absolutely.
As it relates to, well, it can be men and women, but as it relates to men, So we had a little discussion earlier where it was kind of like this, I don't want to say it's a debate, but it was this idea of, okay, a person shouldn't do anything to cause a brother to stumble, right? But then in the same respect, the man has to be able to control his lust or whatever's going on with him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking is, does a woman have a responsibility to be modest for the sake of men and maybe, I guess, some women, or is that just their problem to deal with?
I think there should be like an equilibrium. Like, I don't think we should be outrageous, and I don't think we should be trying to seduce anyone, especially someone that we know struggles with lust or whatever the case may be. But like we said earlier, people have to be held accountable for their actions. So even if a guy is in the midst of a seductress, he should still be able to control himself. Not saying we should play that role, but I'm just saying whatever the case may be. But I feel like we should have a modest heart, and our lives should reflect that. But a man should be able to control himself, and I think that's where you kind of get balance. Because like we said earlier, you can be covered up and literally only your eyes show, and someone will still lust after that. So it's kind of like it needs to be equal when it comes to that.
So the spectrum on this thing is so wide, because I watched something recently, actually might have been yesterday, about modesty, and their argument was just kind of like, so this person does suggest head coverings, they suggest not wearing pants and stuff like that. So her point was that, and I don't want to misrepresent it, but her point basically was certain things if you do certain things in modesty, such as covering your hair or something like that, then it almost acts like a little bit of a deterrent to some guys because it makes them less likely to approach you. Not that they won't approach you.
Right.
So you might get the guy that just has an eye fetish or
Yeah.
like what you said, an earlobe fetish or
Right.
something like that. But do you think that any of those things help, or do you just think it's just about the overall presentation?
Both.
Okay.
I think it's both. The way you present yourself definitely plays a part. And I mean, obviously, like she said, you're not going to just be reckless with it and wear, you know, a bikini top and some, you know, extra fitted jeans or yoga pants.
Yeah.
You know, because you know those are form-fitted garments and they don't represent modesty, and they're going to draw the, you know, the wrong attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what your motive is. That's why I said if your heart is pure, if God has begun that process of sanctification in you, you really the desire to, once God starts healing, because if we speaking honestly, those type of things come from insecurities.
Okay.
When women
that
dress
was about
that
to be
way,
my next question too.
you know, so that healing process needs to begin. You know, that healing process has to take place.
Yeah, because we were talking a lot about the I guess maybe the heart, and that was gonna be my question. What is the inspiration? Like, if a young lady does feel like if she is dressing immodest, like, what is the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, attention seeking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not affirmation, validation. She has insecurities, personal insecurities, and that attention seeking thing is that dressing immodest is a way to gain that attention.
Right.
Even if you know it's not healthy attention or you know or positive attention. If they it's just validation outside of it. But when you feel validated in Christ, then you start to not have a need to be validated outside of God.
Yeah.
You know, and who He says you are. So it's like I don't need to do that. You don't desire to, and the attention is like unwanted. You know, it's like, you agree
because you know what drives that attention. So it's like, I agree.
But I agree. But it's like that attention can be a drug if you're dealing with that spirit of rejection. I think people look at these likes online and like these, I guess the looks that you get out in public, and it's like when a person is unresolved in their heart, it's almost like that thing that they feel as though it fulfills them.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why the healing process is so imperative.
Yeah,
you have to be that healing has to take place. Yeah, absolutely.
So okay. So this is the question I want to ask. I want everybody to answer this question, right?
Including you, Brad.
Yeah. Before you were saved, did you even have it? And I'm asking this because, you know, I just put out the song Sensible Girl, you know, whatever. Before you were saved, was modesty even in your frame of thought? Like, was that something that you were conscious about, or was it just something that wasn't even what you thought about on a day-to-day basis?
I started off. Well, I was saved at a young age, so clearly it was not something that I considered. But as I grew in Christ, and even now when I think about what I put on, what I decide to wear, I feel convicted if something is, you know, if I'm like, if this is too fitted, you know, God, you know, I'm having that conviction now more than ever. So, like you said, it's a heart thing. So,
Yeah. How about you, Torrance?
So it's actually funny. Before I got saved, I actually thought that I was modest. And I say that because I was probably modest compared to other unsaved women, but I wouldn't say I'm the same type of modest now.
Okay.
Meaning I probably would cover up more, but it would still be like tight fitted versus like having all the cleavage and all that stuff out. So modesty was, I did think about it, but it wasn't really something I aspired to be. I just was kind of like, well, I'm going to say the world calls it classy.
Okay.
Versus like modest. Because you can wear something that's hoochie that looks a little better than like, you know, just this all out dress. And they call it classy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think modesty is more like what I think I dress like now. So I would say back then I thought I was some type of modest, but I wasn't striving to be like this super clean looking woman. And my actions definitely did not match what I know a modest woman should be acting like now.
So what was the inspiration behind that though? Do you think it was just common decency of how you were brought up, or was it that you didn't want to just be all the way out there like some other women?
So I grew up with a stepfather, which was basically like my father.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of grew up to know that my actions kind of shamed him. So I didn't want to shame my father in that way. And also kind of took pride in being like the good girl, which, you know, I remember I'm unsaved, so I'm good according to my definition back then.
Right.
But I took pride in being like the girl that is not easy to get, the girl who you know, you would take home to your mother, the one who did not bring shame to my family. But in the sense, I still wasn't, you know, what I would consider modest now.
Right.
But I think my father played a role in that, because if I just had my mother, who knows, I probably would have been like everyone else. And I never shamed back then women who were not like that. I just wanted to be like the good girl in my eyes.
So from your perspective, you felt as though you were carrying yourself as a good girl as far as your attire.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got saved, then did anything change?
Yeah, drastically, but then slowly. So when I first got saved, like, when I first got saved, I like literally was so scared of being everything God didn't like. So I was like, no more makeup, no more jewelry. I'm wearing head coverings. I'm wearing dresses to my ankles. I'm doing all that. Like, I was extreme for like a good 3 months. And then
for like a good 3 months.
Yeah, like
how did that make you feel though? Like, did you feel good about that? Did it feel uncomfortable or what?
It felt. It didn't feel bad, but I could just tell that I was trying to be something. But I will say, not doing makeup in the morning saved me a good 15 minutes. So I'll say that. But drastically, I kind of wanted to wear certain things. I think when I made that drastic change, God kind of brought me back to like a middle ground to where I'm like, okay, I can wear these pants because I don't desire to wear them like this, or with this shirt, or with this type of, you know, shoe or whatever. I'm like, I'm just throwing these pants on because I'm going to the store, type of thing. So I think he did use that to kind of cleanse me in a sense. I just was like, look, I don't know how much time I got, so let me just play this smart. That's what I thought back then. So now I feel like I can wear certain things that during that time I probably wouldn't have worn. Like I have on earrings now, and I don't think anything about it. I wouldn't have worn it before, but it's not too like
extreme.
Yeah, it's not to the extreme. It's not to like seduce anybody. It's not. You can as a woman be modest and still look nice. You don't have to look like frumpy or like an old lady. That's what some people say. You know, you have to find balance. You have to let God do that.
What is that? Is that an adjustment to?
What?
Okay, so I guess this is what I'm asking. So you learn that you don't have to. You learn that you don't have to. I mean, my bad. You learn that you can look nice and still be modest at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you think that was possible before, or is that something that you actually learned?
That's something I learned a little bit before I got saved, but more so when I did get saved. And I say that because before I got saved, I stopped wearing makeup then, and I learned to appreciate my natural beauty. But then I would still try to accentuate certain parts of my body. When I got saved, I was like, my self-esteem is not equal to like my body shape or what I wear to accentuate that. My self-esteem comes from Christ, so I don't have to put this out for show or do this or do that, and I don't have to play good girl. I can just be who God transforms me to be. So it's not like I'm not putting like a label on myself. I'm just I'm God's child, and that's just that.
Yeah. So Steph, no, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments too, but so Steph, like before before you were saved, was modesty something that was like you thought about a lot? And the reason I'm asking this is just because when you see the quote unquote average girl today out and about, you're gonna get, you know, the yoga pants and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
so I'm asking, you know, to really arrive at, is it something that's even in women's frame of thought, you know, because some women when they walk out the house, it's like they didn't have modesty anywhere in their frame of thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then at some point when you get saved, there's a shift. So was there a shift with you, or how drastic was it?
It wasn't too drastic. I was never a person. I never really dressed like, you know, like a hoochie mama or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't never really the type of person that dressed real raunchy. Mainly I think because of my body shape, to be honest. Because I think if I had like a certain type of, I'm just keeping it 100. If I had a certain type of body shape, I probably would have been, you know, more immodest, if I could call it, even to the world standards. But because I've always been, you know, kind of thick or whatever, I would never be somebody in a crop top or, you know, certain types of, only because of my body, not because I wouldn't have wanted to. So, but I didn't care about modesty at all. I wasn't thinking about that. Now, if I was around, like I knew I was going to a certain setting, like a job interview, or if I was going to church, or, you know, even around certain family members that I respected, I wouldn't have like cleavage all out or something like that, but like club wear or something like that. Oh yeah, it was on. It was whatever I felt like I looked good in, you know, then I wore it. But after being saved, yes, that was definitely something that I immediately became mindful about. Because your mind is being renewed, your mind is being transformed, and you start to think differently. Now, I honestly like the fact that I don't look like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, even though I may have on, you know, like I have a denim shirt on or whatever the case may be, I'm not gonna tie it up. Whereas before I would tie it up and I would put the tightest jeans I could find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, just to accentuate my curves and make sure that certain parts of my body, like Torrance said, was on display. Because I was insecure, because I needed validation, outside validation, that is, outside of Christ. And yeah. So
is it a power thing too? And the reason I'm asking,
that is for me it was.
Yeah, I'm asking that because, and this one thing I said a long time ago. When you think about the terms, the things people say, it's always killing them, slaying them. Yep. This the old one, like, you know, knocking them dead. You know, that's the old, you know, middle age.
You know, I was definitely intentional.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I was definitely intentional. And like I said, you know your body, you know what you know what. I don't want to say strong points, but you know, in terms of seduction or being attractive, you know what you have to accentuate and how to do it, and you learn your body and what you feel as though best accentuates certain parts of your body. So I was very intentional about what I wore, and I did feel powerful. I did it on purpose because of the power that came from it. Like, I like the fact that even though I wasn't going to entertain them, I still wanted them to want me. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that dudes were attracted to me physically, even though the reason why they was attracted to, I wasn't even, you know what I mean, because you're mine. So, but I definitely,
The things you put on kind of shifts your confidence. When you put on makeup compared to when you don't wear it, the outfits that you try to wear to accentuate certain parts of your body, it just shifts your confidence and you become more bold.
Now let me talk about that a little bit, because I dated this girl one time, and I'm not saying all girls who have, you know, quote unquote weave do this, right? But I noticed like blatant when she normally she was just natural. Normally she was natural. Like, I liked her that way, you know. I thought she looked her best that way. Right, but she had got her hair done one day. I think it was her birthday or something. And
she got them inches.
It was
Sis was flexing.
And I don't even think she had like short hair in general. It was just like it was just something, and I could almost just see her whole demeanor kind of shift. Like, she was just playing with it all the time. And this annoyed me so much. No, like she sent me a picture. I think it was her birthday or something. She sent me a picture, and she basically asked me like how she looked. Right. Now at this time I am saved. This was long time ago, long time ago. But I was saved, right? And you know, it put me in the situation because I'm like, I didn't want to tell her that she looked good because I didn't want to reaffirm that because I knew that the only reason she was asking me was because she had put up on this little makeup and got her hair done and I even knew it was a spiritual thing at that point. But then at the same time I was like, I don't want to say she don't look like she asked me the question. So I'm kind of at a catch-22. So I forgot what I said. I probably said something like yeah, you look good or whatever. But I probably just downplayed it because I didn't want to like feed into that stronghold.
Right.
Yeah. But she never. I don't think she ever asked me that on a regular day. You know what I'm saying? Like it was only
when she did all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
You know the irony in that is that the whole reason why we do all of that because we think that that's what y'all like.
And men usually
you know what I'm saying? Like
don't like it.
We feel like it's like we do that to be attractive.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do that to be attractive and I mean when you grow up and you mature then you learn that, you know, that's not you know, that's not you should aspire, especially as a saved person, a saved woman or a woman, a guy, you should, you know, want to be covered up and it's not, you know, you shouldn't be attracting people or a stumbling block and so on and so forth. But I mean, like, that's why I used to do it. And I think that's why most women do it, to be appealing to the opposite sex. And then it doesn't make sense. It's like the whole cycle of it, if you really think about it.
Yes.
You're doing that to attract a guy. You attract the guy, but the guy's only attracted to you because of the way you look or because of your body. So naturally, you appeal to him, but you appeal to him in a sexual way. So, but then you're upset or heartbroken when he only wants you for that. Yeah. But that was the very reason you attracted him in the first place, and you set yourself out there to do that. So when they don't fall in love or want to wife you or even be in a committed relationship with you or whatever the case may be, then it's just like what happened? Like, you know what I mean? You don't understand because your thinking is off.
Yeah.
Your mind needs to be renewed. We have to be transformed in our thinking.
It really messes you up too when you think you're giving out your best, and then they find someone who look just like you but maybe a little better to them. Because then now you're competing with other women who do the same thing for the same reason. Like it's just a vicious cycle of like one up in somebody, and it's just not. It's exhausting. I'm glad I'm out the race. But
it's just like the girl that puts on all of this, she has on the skimpiest outfit. She got on makeup, lashes, the weave, everything, all done up. And then the guy's like, hey, yo, shorty, trying to holler at her or whatever. Of course, she gonna, fake like she not into it or whatever the case may be. Knowing the whole time, the whole reason why she dressed this way is to attract guys. And then when he comes at her in a way that's disrespectful or, kind of like proposing sex or just saying something to her that may hint about sex or her appearance in a sexual manner, then she's offended. You know what I mean? It's like, don't talk to me like that. What makes you think that you can say that to me? Or, you know what I mean? It's like, so you look like a hoe.
Right.
You acting like you know what I mean? But, I'm sorry.
Get mad when
maybe not hoe. But when somebody approaches you in that manner, then you mad.
Right.
So it just doesn't even make sense. The whole game of it.
Yeah, what I could say, if I'm all for 2 cents, and that's really just it. But all that extra stuff, sometimes it do look good. Like, sometimes I do that. A part of a guy likes it, but I don't think that a guy always wants it, like long term.
Right.
I can like something for, like I think you said it earlier, Brittany, temporarily. I can like something temporarily, but it doesn't mean that I want it long term.
Right.
And I feel as though with a guy that is trying to be serious, he's going to gravitate towards a woman that he thinks is serious. I've been in I've lived parts of life where I just knew I was not serious
Right.
at all, and I would specifically gravitate to or go for women that I didn't think were serious either.
Yeah.
Because my thing is like, I'm not serious, you not serious, so we just gonna be
It's the
not
perfect
serious
situation.
together. You know, but when I was not serious, I wouldn't go for the women that I perceived were serious. And to be honest with you, I mean, I know the Bible says, "Judge no man after the flesh," but oh, my PC about to die. Oh, man. I don't know how we gonna do this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is gonna have to be a miracle.
Oh, it's right there.
My goodness. All right, this light gonna have to come off for a second.
I thought it was all the way downstairs.
No. Hold on, real quick. All right, which one is the camera and which one is just the light?
Yeah.
Stand by.
Right.
What are they saying in the chat?
I don't know. Hold on, real quick. Because this thing will cut off immediately.
Right.
Okay. All right, hang tight.
I'm looking at the comments.
You got it?
Sorry about that.
I don't want to look at it.
Let me go here real quick.
It looks like I know.
Y'all can't be having side conversations.
All right.
I say I was looking at the comments from my phone.
All right, my bad.
Oh, for real? What they saying? What they talking about? They talking about.
Somebody said, "Okay, sister."
Yeah.
Patricia.
All right, good. I think we straight. Sorry about that, but yeah, I was saying I would evaluate that first and foremost based off appearance.
Right.
You know, because and I know that that's not the full proof of how you evaluate someone, but that is the first thing that you see is appearance. Like before you can, I mean, I guess technically you can talk to somebody before you see them, but no one's actually going to do that. You know what I mean? So that very first step is like, what is the message? And this is controversial. What is the message that you are sending with your attire?
Right.
Now, people today will tell you that your attire does not necessarily. Now, this I might somewhat agree with this. Let me say it this way. People today will say that your attire does not communicate anything.
Right.
You know, do y'all agree with that, or do y'all think?
No,
Okay.
I do not agree with that at all.
No.
So you think that what we wear communicates a message?
Absolutely.
Because if that was the case, there would be no need for us to be modest.
Exactly.
It could go both ways.
And even,
I
go
do.
ahead,
I
Rick.
do believe
I was
that.
saying, even from the colors we wear, it communicates a lot.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Like a lot of people associate black with like dark. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
love black. I
Right.
think it's classy, you
Right.
know. But I mean, they may assume that I'm like hurt or I'm in a dark state. I'm
Yeah.
clearly not.
If you
Believe
don't
me,
wear,
I'm not.
if you don't wear
But-
vibrant colors,
But
and
you,
stuff
but
like
you
that.
probably just wearing a nice black outfit.
Right.
But you're not wearing like, you know, the goth,
Yeah.
you know, with the black eyeliner and the black, you
Yeah.
know, and you looking all crazy. You know what I mean? You ain't
Right.
really doing that.
Right.
But I agree that the colors, even, and I didn't even think about that, even the colors can communicate things to people. Somebody asked earlier, what is the chat saying? I saw a few questions here and there, but I don't think they were like straight up like directed towards us. I think I saw one comment. It might have been Moni E. She was saying, I understand and respect what you guys are saying, but not all women who wear extensions or makeup are doing it for lustful reasons. It depends on what is in someone's heart. And I just want to respond to that one because I don't think we were trying to communicate that.
Like
Just
I have
because
extensions
I know I was about
right
to say,
now,
like
and
Brittany and Stephanie
like,
clearly have extensions.
Yeah.
So,
It's just
so
no, we're not saying
we
that
said
at
we
all.
went through a season where we were stripped of that, so
Yeah.
that God could clean our hearts.
Right.
So that if we return back to it, we were not trying to be lustful.
Like
or,
right.
your
And
motives for doing it,
Yeah.
impure motives for doing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I was just giving an example of something I witnessed personally where those particular extensions did change her demeanor.
Yeah.
Like,
And it can.
visibly.
Yeah.
If you
yeah,
leave
it
yourself
could.
vulnerable to
It
that.
could. It
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
It absolutely could.
Yeah, so I don't know if there any
So
other...
no, Moni E, we're not saying that, sis. Rock your extensions and your lip.
Yeah, but so your attire communicates, right? Your attire communicates. And even the Bible talks about how such and such has the attire of an harlot. Like I think in Proverbs chapter 7, it talks about how, or either Proverbs 5, 6, or 7, it talks about how there's a such thing as the attire of an harlot. I want to ask this question because I think earlier, Torrance, you said something about how we dress differently today, and we do dress differently today. So I guess with that, my question is, how does the evolution of society and clothing play a role in modesty, if it does at all? It's not an SAT. I know I phrase every question like an SAT question. Y'all just ignore how I phrase the question and just like answer it regular, like I asked it regular.
Like I asked it regular.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like it's a right or wrong answer, but I guess what I'm asking is, as and I'm using this word evolves. I don't know what other word to use, but as society, I hate this word too, progresses.
Right.
Does that affect modesty? So is modesty relative or is it absolute? Is it like a concrete thing, or is it something that just changes over time?
I think it can change with time because, like I said, we don't wear what we wear back then. But I don't everything that's trendy isn't. You're not supposed to. You should not hop on because, like I was going to use an example like chokers, right? They were trendy, but you might not necessarily feel like you should wear them. You know what I'm saying? But we wear pants now, so it's like, okay, if you don't feel weird wearing pants. I don't think they wore pants back then. So that's a change. I don't want to say progression either, but that's a change from back then to now. Women wear pants now, but you can wear them modestly. Like you don't have to be, and I have to be skin tight. They don't have to have everything showing. They could just be regular pants that you wear. But some things are trendy now that you may not necessarily feel comfortable wearing if you have a modest heart. Like what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Nah, I feel, and I'm just listening because I'm thinking about it. Because I'm thinking about folks that don't wear pants today. There are some people, there are some people who don't wear pants and don't wear extensions and cover their head and stuff like that. That's fine. I think that's personal or not even convict. God just might tell you to do that for whatever reason. So I don't shame women who wear pants or who don't wear pants, who wear makeup, who don't wear makeup. Like it's you do you as you're led by the Lord. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. Because that's a big thing in the body where I feel like people can't see. Nobody can come to one agreement in the body of Christ about things like that. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Yeah, and so I know sisters who believe that the Lord has instructed them not to wear pants or to wear a head wrap or something like that. So what you're saying is you believe that those are personal instructions, personal convictions that the Lord gave that sister specifically. Yeah,
it could be for some. It could be for some sisters and not for some. Me personally, I don't feel like I was told not to wear pants. I don't feel like I was told to cover my head. I did for a season, but I was doing it because I felt like I was supposed to, not because I was being told to do so. Not to, like I said, not to wear makeup for a season. So it's just what God wants to do with you, what He's cleansing you from, or whatever He's doing with you.
So let me ask this then, because I'm thinking about it, right? Like, because I was told not to wear cologne. Right. Okay, and I know why I was told not to wear cologne. Till this day, I still don't know if I've been released. I'm not even trying to be funny. Right. Like, I don't typically wear cologne when I walk out the house, So with that being said, like how, and maybe Steph, maybe you can answer this. How did you know when you were released? Because you said the Lord had like stripped you for a season of some stuff. And then at some point you were released to, resume. To be able to resume. So what did that look like?
It was a personal thing. Like I knew within myself that my motive for doing it was not impure. I knew before when I would wear certain types of clothing or a certain size clothing,
Right.
that fitted in a certain way, and shirts that didn't really cover, you got to cover your booty and stuff if you're gonna wear pants that are fitted.
Right.
I wasn't doing any of that, and I wasn't doing it on purpose.
Right.
Whereas now, I wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, I know that if I have on a certain style of pants, then it's not even in the talk. It's nothing to think about. Whether or not I'm going to cover myself properly. It's just natural. Like, I don't even have clothes, that I would wear that wouldn't be that wouldn't cover certain areas. I don't even shop the same way, so it's a makeover. Like, your mind is being renewed, and it's a transition. For your closet, you goes through a transition, or it should, unless you have clothes because I believe that you can make a lot of articles of clothing trendy. Modest, trendy clothing. Modest. It just depends on, because I like clothes. I like fashion. I've always been into fashion. So I like clothes. I'm like a girly girl sometimes, most of the time. So I was into the heels and stuff like that. I don't wear heels now. And that's the one thing that I don't feel convicted. I do wear heels, like if I'm going to somewhere, but I don't feel convicted about wearing heels like I used to. Like, I used to do it to be sexy. I used to wear heels to be sexy, and that was my intention. So I think did I answer your question? How did I know I was released? Because internally I knew, like in my heart
about it.
I knew. I had a piece about being able to wear it, and I knew what my motive was before. So when my mindset changed and God renewed my mind, and my motive changed, that's just how I knew, that it was that I didn't feel the same way using these products anymore. I didn't feel the same way dressing this way, or putting on certain articles of clothing. I was really conscious about covering myself in a certain way that I wasn't before.
I want to ask you this question, Brittany, because you said you had gotten saved at a young age. So in that, did you feel like there was more of a temptation to kind of like emulate or compete with other young ladies your age that you might have saw wearing a certain type of thing or something like that? Did you have that type of pressure, or were you more so like secure in however the Lord was dealing at you at whatever age? Because I know you get saved young. You go through all different, you become a teenager, and I don't know how young you were saved, but if you could just speak to that, like, did you feel pressure?
Absolutely not. I'm in the middle. I have a sister that's older than me and then one that's younger than me. I sort of transitioned with them, but as far as me, I was secure in who I was. I just didn't care about what people thought about me. Not saying it in a sense like I'm better than anyone else, but I was just comfortable in tennis shoes and loose fitting jeans and loose fitted shirts. I just wasn't mindful of I was mindful of like how guys would respond, because my sisters, they wasn't out there like that, but they were, their attire was a little different. And I sort of transitioned in their lives, but in my life, I was like, I don't want that attention. I was more like the sibling that was like, stop, no, keep it going, because people would stop and pull over. I'm like, no, keep it going. So that was me. So that wasn't a struggle for me. But in my current walk, a couple of years ago, like you said, your closet go through a transition. And I was looking at some of the shoes I would wear, because I would wear a lot of platforms. My intention was not impure when I first got it, but I have flat feet, so platforms were the type of shoes that I would wear. But looking at my closet now, I'm like, I just need to give those away. I'm not going to wear those anymore. My heels got a little lower. My fitted church dresses, they weren't super, super tight, but they were just fitted. And I'm like, every time I put it on, I feel convicted, like, no, you can let that go too.
All right, so I'm not talking about you. But if a young lady walks into a church today and she's either not saved or has not been saved for a long time, how should the women let me ask this, who should address that, and how should it be addressed?
If it's, you were about to say something, Brett?
You can go.
Me personally, that's the sister that I'm gonna go talk to. You know, and I'm when I say go talk to, I don't mean like go talk to like why you wearing that, you know, that's inappropriate. That's the sister that I'm a try to befriend in a sense, because I know how it feels to come into a religious setting or a church environment and be judged by what you wearing. Like I said earlier, it has to be organic. We shouldn't be forcing our standards of modesty on other people.
Right.
And I know I had church mothers do it to me, or you know, older women in the church do it to me.
How did you receive that?
I left.
Okay.
I left because I was, because you're not all the way, your mind is not fully renewed yet. And me, I was a little spicy, like, listen, I don't have to deal with that. I'm not here. You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm not here for that. You know, I was genuinely seeking God and to be met with that. I believe that the enemy uses people in church too. I hate to say it this way.
Definitely.
But you know, if you met at the door with the usher and they giving you the side eye because they have a covering, or you know, their skirt is down to their ankles, and you come in there and you're not fully transformed and your mind hasn't been renewed, like that's the sister you need to embrace. She don't know, clearly she hasn't gotten to that place yet. So you know, the judgment and that sort of thing, I went through that whole spiel. But that's, like I said, me personally, that's the sister that I'm gonna try to embrace and talk to. And I think it organically, they will naturally start to come. It just happens. You know.
So you left not because you were approached, but you left because of how you were approached.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How did they approach you?
Yeah.
So this happened at multiple places. Just to be
like
clear,
you might be a common denominator.
So one church was like one church was like real bad old school, like Pentecostal.
Okay.
So they had like the head coverings, they didn't wear pants, that sort of thing. And the usher, and that's why I say usher, I made the reference about the usher. The usher was like, you can't come in here with them pants on. She literally told me that. So I left. Now on my way out, and this was a it wasn't a large congregation. So on my way out, I ran into another sister, an older sister. I will never forget her. Her name was Sister Brenda, and she said, "Are you here to visit? I have never seen you before. You know, what's your name?" Completely different demeanor. And
so
she was
same
like,
church, but
same church,
two different people,
different person.
Okay.
So I'm on my way out now. This is when I run into Sister Brenda, and she's like, "Oh, I hope you come back and visit us, and I would like to talk to you." And she was just, her demeanor was completely different. She actually gave me her phone number, and so No, I gave her my phone number. I'm sorry. And she ended up calling me like later on in the week, maybe like around Wednesday or Thursday. And she asked if I would come back for Bible study. And I said no. But then I ended up going back like for a Sunday service. And I got baptized. I got rebaptized during that Sunday service. But it was because of Sister Brenda. But that other lady, she was like, she didn't say don't worry about her. But she kind of just said, like, you're here for the Lord. Right. She refocused me because I was kind of a little bit still rough around the edges. I was just like, look, what's wrong with her?
So what type of grace has to be done in a situation like that? Because let me frame this question, and I see a couple of questions in the chat. We're gonna get to them in a minute. Let me set this question up the right way. In the usher's mind, she probably thought that whatever you were wearing is quote unquote unacceptable.
It was pants.
Right.
It wasn't even that it was fitted. It was just that it was pants, period. And that denomination.
Right. So so in accordance to that denomination, she basically said that was inappropriate, right? Basically according to her conscience, right? I don't know if it's her personal conscience, but according to that denomination. Okay. So now let's just use it ain't even that extreme because I've seen it happen. Let's say it's like a Sunday where just a lot of people come, maybe like quote unquote Easter Sunday. Right? We ain't gonna get into the holidays, but let's say it's a Sunday like that, and you get a lot of people who just come that one day of the year, like that on Mother's Day, and you get a woman who is wearing, say, like a tight mini skirt or something like that. How would you address something like? Because I've seen, it might not have been a mini skirt, but I have seen outfits that are on the same level as that in church. I seen it one Easter Sunday. As a matter of fact, I think it was Peach or something like that. But anyway, how would you address something like that?
I wouldn't. And if there's no flesh, like if like her breasts aren't exposed, or it's not transparent, like it's not see through, or something that's clearly raunchy, then just the tightness of it or the length of it, I wouldn't address that. I feel as though that's something that that sister would have to, or the Lord. People try to play God. That's something that sister needs to be convicted of by God. Me now, and like I said, if it was like boobs out, see-through skirt or something like that,
skirt is like can be just as appealing as like cleavage or something like that.
It can be, but that's what I was saying earlier about brothers being held accountable as well. Like you go out in the world every day. You ride the metro every day. I'm quite sure you see chicks with, just because we in church, don't act like you ain't never seen it before. Now all of a sudden she's such a stumbling block because we in the church house.
But let me hit you with the okie doke. All right.
Yeah.
So she's in there getting sanctified, right? And we're waiting on the Lord for her. Okay, we're waiting for God to do a work. But it could be a dude that's immature or not even born again in the walk, right? We're also waiting for the Lord to do a work in him. But he is just like her. They're nowhere near finished that work, right? So whereas you might be able to depend on like the deacons or the pastor, I'm just throwing these out, you can depend on them to be able to contain themselves or have temperance and self-control. But what about the other men who are also just as immature as that woman? Because now what you might have is like a recipe for you. You almost got a recipe for disaster, because you got this immature, I'm using this word, provocative woman, this immature dude, and he sees her walking down there to give offering. And now he trying to give a little offering himself. So how do you manage that?
That's those two grown adults. How can you manage that? You talking about the way she's dressed?
Well, you can't manage it, but do you want that in your church?
But people who are dressed provocatively,
like that type of scenario. Like if I'm in a church, a pastor, a deacon, a mother, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like,
so I thought you were talking about Easter Sunday, like one event, one time this person comes and they're dressed like that. I would not address that unless it was out like extreme. No, if this is somebody that's coming back week after week and they are not, I want God to be God and let God organically deal with that woman's heart. But if she is a little slow to the transition and it seems as though it's becoming an issue or it's a stumbling block for the brothers or whatever the case may be, then I would say something to her in love though. But I would be prayerful about that, because it's the way you come at someone. It's the spirit in which you approach somebody about something like that. So if something had to be said, I wouldn't be afraid to say it. Well, y'all know. I wouldn't be afraid to say it, but I would seek the Lord about when to approach that young lady or how. Because like I said, people leave because of stuff like that.
And then your defense, initially I did give like a one-time, Easter
Sunday. I thought you meant just one time. She came to church.
But if she coming Sunday after Sunday, you then see the protocol of the church. So you should, begin
that
to
conviction.
Conform to their way.
So this is funny because I actually witnessed this a little bit. I was a babe, but I had went past that like 3-month drastic season, and I went to this church by me. And I noticed there was a woman who would always come in there with like really tight fitted, like bodysuits, very, very tight fitted dresses. And she was curvy and everything. But I sensed that she was a babe too, so I didn't really think that she was coming in there for anything but God. Like I just felt like she was like, I just need to be here for whatever reason. At that time, I probably wouldn't have spoken to her. Because I didn't feel like I knew what to say. Like I didn't feel like I knew how to handle that. But I was under the assumption, I believe, it's a Bible verse that speaks about the elder women kind of being an example for the younger women.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of was like looking for the elder women to build that relationship with her. Don't scold her, like, don't come in here with that. But kind of like, you know, hey, sis, how you doing? You know, kind of getting to know her. You know, maybe on a Saturday, weekend, whatever. Say, you know, you want to go shopping? You know, we let's shop together. Let's, you know, because, you know, you come to, not even about, oh, you look like a harlot, but, you know, when you come to the house of the Lord, you want to look presentable.
Right.
Or something, you know, something like that to where she feels affirmed. And she knows that she's getting corrected in love.
I've been drinking a gazillion water.
And you're not going to, they wouldn't feel, you know, like you trying to come, like you coming at them in a way that is, you know, it's
like control them or make them feel like, you don't want to make them feel bound, basically.
The way you do it is everything.
Yeah.
You know, what you say and how you say it is everything. Like, of course, you know, you can't just have somebody, you know, walking around. And if their heart is, if their motives are if their heart is genuinely for God and they really desire change, then they're not going to feel no type of way about you saying, look, sis, like, you know, it's not really appropriate, or, you know, you might want to try to, you know, change the way that you dress, or, you know, just the, you know.
Yeah. Like
I don't think
wear this, or this looks nice for your body type, or, you know, it's just things like that where God will be doing his work if they're serious, but you can also kind of assist it in a way. And I, like you said, I would pray about it too, but I wouldn't just scold a woman like.
No, absolutely not. Because
I've
I've been that woman before. You know what I'm saying?
Greg was saying, if it's a guy who struggles with that, who's immature in the faith, I would still say maybe like the older guys in the church can kind of like get to know him and, you know, be prayerful about how to lead him and, you know, instill certain wisdom in him. Of course, like you said, God will be doing what God do, but maybe they can assist in, you know, whatever way. So I feel like as a church, there are certain responsibilities I feel for elders. They have a certain wisdom that we don't have if you're not, which is why I believe that, I don't even want to say position, but I think that's why we have elders in the body in the body of Christ. So everything like is supposed to be free flowing. Like, people are not gonna come in the door perfect, you know, but God is gonna fix them. And if you can assist in any way, if the Lord leads you to do this, or if they come to you and ask about this, or whatever the case may be, you can do that. But regardless, I don't think there's nothing wrong with building a relationship with babes in Christ.
No, that's what you.
Because you want to make sure
that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, you want to make sure that they get, you know, the right stuff, that they don't, you know, you want to be there while they're growing, you know.
Yeah, I feel like the problem in too many churches is that the elder women are not they're not right themselves. Right. I mean, I'm just going. Right. I don't really know no other way to say it. You know, they haven't fully committed themselves to Christ in a manner that they can exude the love of Christ, because He's not in them fully. You know, and it's like you can't really be a mentor or elder or you know, an example to the younger generation if you haven't allowed that work to be done in you yourself. You know, a lot of times I felt unwelcome in many places where I felt, and it wasn't even like because I was dressed immodestly or nothing like that. I mean, they just weren't loving. It wasn't a loving environment, or you get the sense of you know, you there for a little while, you get the sense of competition, or somebody feel like, oh, she the new chick. You know, that type of situation. It just be so much mess going on that, listen, I'm not here for none of that. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's the case in a lot of places.
It's true.
Is the pastor supposed to address this?
Most of the time, I don't even think the pastor know.
They
it depends. Like I mean, the lower level stuff.
I don't mean the drama, but I mean, like, I'm sorry, y'all know I done left and came back. But I meant, like, you know, immodesty or something like that.
Oh no! I mean, if he feel led, if he feel led, but I think a female should do it. Me personally, if there's no, you know, what they call pastor wife or first lady. I hate to use that term, but if the pastor doesn't have a wife or the leader doesn't have a wife, then some mature woman in the faith should be able to. It's almost like God strategically places people in ministries, like, you know, it's fivefold. Like we got pastors, teachers, you know what I mean? It's like somebody is gonna feel led to do those things,
but they're not appointed to do it.
What?
They're not appointed to assist that person in that area that need help.
You mean when they do it the wrong way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Who people who take it upon themselves to do it? You mean?
yes, because you kept asking like, who should be responsible for addressing that person?
Right.
Yeah.
To me, I think we all should be held accountable because first of all, love conquers all, and we should all show love and not judge people. And when you love people, you and by showing love to people, they'll see, oh, this person is loving, and then the more and more you show love towards them, I think that it also help change them. They'll feel more welcome.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. I would approach that person. That's the sister that I would befriend, or I would approach in a way like, what's up? I'm just that person anyway, because I don't like when people be acting awkward and uptight. Because I know how it feels to be new or to be coming into a certain environment and not be embraced.
So let me ask it this way: can a pastor address that? Like a male pastor, can a pastor address that?
I think they can.
Yeah.
Is it going to be received differently?
Well, if they're led, I think it'll do what it's supposed to do. But I don't necessarily. I don't know.
I think it depends on the woman.
Yeah.
To be honest, because like when you have certain women with certain types of baggage and certain types of issues, they don't receive stuff like that very well from a man, and vice versa. Some don't receive that very well from a female. But I do think that the female on female interaction is a little bit more comfortable because a girl might feel embarrassed if she's there for the right reason and a guy approaches her or the pastor, like, look, sister, you can't. She gonna respect it, I think, but at the same time, it's gonna cause she might be like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Whereas if a sister did it, like, look, sis, I know you a little curvy and everything, but we gotta try to, or something, whatever a sister might say to another sister. It'll be the comfort of it all will be different. Coming from a female.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna ask a few questions that I see, and I'm way at the top. Sister Patricia asked this question earlier. She said, how do you know if God is calling you into a stripping season, as the ladies mentioned earlier?
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
You feel just super convicted about things, or you might hear a message that is for you. I remember God used Sister Sharon to convict me of a lot of things for a lot of times. You just don't feel any peace about things, I would say. Like if you wear this, you just feel like I just feel like I'm pushing it, or you just don't feel, you can't leave the house and just feel like, all right, I'm just dressed for the day. Like you feel weird about it. That's how I felt when I'm going through a stripping season. And then it's usually confirmed somewhere else down the line, and then I'll know. Or maybe because sometimes it's happened, you'll read a verse that in the Bible and you're like, this is speaking about this.
God's speaking.
So you kind of just like, all right, I gotta give it up. For what you just feel the need, like you just feel it. I felt it. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, for me, I knew because of my motives being impure in the way I felt when I was doing it. It opposed what I was reading in the Word of God. It opposed what I saw. The standard of righteousness and holiness being and purity being for the body. So I knew that my motives were impure. When God told me to do it, I was slow. Me? I was a little slow to move on some things than others. Slower than on some things than others. So just allowing the Lord to do that work in you, and you gonna know because you're not gonna feel comfortable with wearing certain things. And he gonna, it's like she said, a verse or even another person, he'll send confirmation.
You gonna get it somehow.
You know what I mean? You put on the skirt and it rip. It's just like,
don't
sew it back up. Sis. Just go ahead and let that go. He don't want you to wear that.
I agree. You gonna know.
Yeah.
I can't even remember when he stripped me off cologne. I just remember not having a clear conscience about it.
Yeah.
Like I just remember, there was a season of I guess it'd be denial. A season of denial, but I can't even tell you through the details, but it's just kind of one of those when you know type deals. Let me ask this question too. Brother Randy asked this question a little bit earlier. He said, how do you keep from returning back to the old mindsets after you have been released?
After you've
That's
been
good.
released.
Yeah, so release in the sense of
To wear makeup
say
and
God
stuff again?
takes something away from you, right?
Mhm.
And say we believe that we've been released to partake again. His question is, how do you keep from returning back to the old mindsets after you've been released?
The same way you do everything else in this walk. You know, God, you first of all, the renewing of your mind. If you once God does the work in you, you're not thinking about it the way you used to. Like I said, I was intentional about being seductive. I was intentional about being sexy, but now that's not even in my thought process when I wear something, or when you buy clothes, or when you picking out a lip gloss or something like that. You know,
Right.
you're not like, oh yeah, this is gonna be popping tonight.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking like, oh, this is a cute color. It would go nice with whatever. As far as like going back to the old mindset, I think we're staying in Christ. Like we have to stay connected.
Yeah.
Just like with any other thing, fornication or I don't know, like me, I used to smoke. So smoking, those type of addictions, those things you can be delivered, but you have to maintain a certain walk and with the Lord. You have to stay connected to be able to maintain that. You know, you have to work out your own soul salvation. Like you got to stay grounded in the Lord, because ultimately you don't have the strength to do it in your own will. That's the whole reason why we depend on our Savior. You know, that's why we need God.
Right. And I say,
so you gotta stay connected.
I say just be like vigilant, like, because I know sometimes it may be easier to slip, like, not obviously not sin, but like, let's say, like you said, you stop wearing cologne. Let's say you feel comfortable enough to wear cologne again. Like, you got to be careful. Like, let's say the first day you wear cologne, a sister comes and say, oh, you smell so good, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you want to be careful for traps and stuff like that. That could bring you back to that. So you just have to be, like, wise in certain things. Your heart will change, but I see what he's saying. You want to, I guess, keep your heart that way. Like you said, like, you got to stay connected to Christ. But I also feel like you have to, like, really be mindful of certain things, because I know that sometimes if I feel myself getting a little too comfortable with something, I'm like, all right, let me pull back. Like I don't know, like something like getting my hair done. If I feel like I may start to feel myself too much, or I'm getting too many compliments, I'm like, all right, let me stay humble, before it gets to a certain place, because you don't want to return back to your vomit. Well, if it's not, I guess I could say that if it's not sin, but you don't want to return back to something or a state you were in with something like that.
If it offends you, cut it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you doing too much, and you know you're doing too much. You know when you're doing too much.
You do know.
You know what I mean? Just cut it off. Like it's not even worth it. And when the more we walk with God, we want to please Him. Right. Like you love Him. Like. Right. I don't want my father to feel, like I'm being disobedient, or wearing being attractive to the opposite sex is more important than me pleasing him. At the end of the day, it's not. You know what I mean? It's not that deep. I wanna please God.
Right.
And if me not wearing lipstick or a skirt that's a certain length is gonna stop me from pleasing God, then that's a skirt I don't need.
Right.
Period.
Ask yourself, is this temptation worth my soul?
Right.
Yeah, I go through like a progression of, y'all know I overthink all of this, but
oh my God.
but I honestly, I just, if I'm thinking about wearing cologne or something, I'm asking myself, okay, why do I want to wear it? Yeah. What's the reason why I want to wear it? Yeah. What is the motive behind me wearing it? I ask myself that question a lot, just in general, of just stuff in general. Like, what is the motive behind me saying or doing whatever it is that I'm thinking about saying or doing? Right. Like somebody could say, like, say someone reaches out to me for just in a DM or something like that, right? It could be a question, it could be anything like that.
And your DMs though?
Right, I guess. Yeah, I got 1 or 2 DMs.
Slide in your DMs.
So let's say somebody slide in there, trip and fall, or whatever they do, right? And I could make, and let's say I could make a joke, and it could just be a joke.
Right.
But I asked myself, like, okay, why do I want to make this joke?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not that I'm trying to walk on eggshells, but it's more like, am I making this joke because, like, I want her to, kiki laugh at me or something like that, or am I just making this joke because it's an organic conversation? Yeah. Like I can make jokes with y'all all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's certain people that if I respond, even though the actual response is innocent, I have to ask myself, well, what is the real motive as to why I want to, even engage in this conversation? You know what I mean? Or put an emoji. What is the motive behind me putting this emoji? And y'all think those emojis don't mean nothing. Right?
It's not they do sometimes, but you just like, but you seriously like so deep with it,
for real. And then a lot of times it's not even about me. It could just be like if it's the type of person and I can perceive something about them. Yeah. I'll be like,
in a DM.
Yeah, even in a DM or something like that, or a text message. If I can perceive something about them, I'll be like, I'm not going to use an emoji.
Y'all, let me tell you, y'all, Greg, everybody is a suspect like this.
No, I'm real, man. Listen, I got some stories to tell. I just can't tell them yet. But I'm serious. I'll be like, you know what? She can't even handle if I send this emoji, so I'm not even going to send it. Right. Because I don't want to be a stumbling block for her just off this emoji. And I know it sounds like so... ridiculous.
I get the logic behind it.
Yeah, it's like certain people, they see them little faces or whatever, and it's like they just read into them. So
yeah,
well, you got Android anyway, so you have
emojis. Don't come for us. Don't come for us.
That emojis is wax sauce anyway. Nobody no Android emojis anyway, bro.
Yeah, look, y'all laughing. I'm trying to show y'all, man. One day I'm gonna come on here. But yeah, it's somebody said, vanity. That can be the motive sometimes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And vanity really means emptiness. It really means empty. So it's like, what is the fruit that's being produced out of X, Y, and Z? Is it a productive fruit or is it something that's destructive? Okay. So it's a few comments in here and stuff like that. We coming up on almost about 9:30.
For real?
Yeah, time flies when you on here. Yeah, I mean we got started a teeny bit late anyway. Yeah. But yeah, just to kind of maybe wrap it up a little bit. I'm looking for questions, but just to kind of do that, this is a very controversial topic. You know what I mean? Like this idea.
It is.
Do y'all think is there such thing as male modesty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that look like? Because we didn't even cover that, and we won't get too deep into it. But like, what does a male have to do to be modest?
I think it's more so. It can be about how they dress, but it's more so about how their actions. Okay. And their speech. Mm-hmm. More so than how they dress. I mean, because like, them tight fitted shirts and little teeny pants and stuff like that. That's not, to me, that's not appealing. So
right, but they could do something like wear too much cologne or
like shirt a little too fitted. They want to flex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they have less devices than we do.
Why you laughing, Greg?
I'm laughing because I know you don't like the muscle shirts.
You look. No sir.
You ain't gotta worry about me. Like that, or if they know they have something that most women like, they like do the most with it. Let's say they have
do the most
like a nice beard. Like they spend like 2 hours a day making sure their beard is for real. Some guys are like that. Perfect. So I mean they have less devices than we do, but it's possible.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you, Steph. I feel like as men, we do have to be physically modest, but I feel like we also have to be modest in our interactions. Mm-hmm. Like modest in how you respond to women, modest in how you interact with women, and modest in if you even choose to interact with women. You know what I mean? Because to me, we all labor in ministry together. Right. And we're all cool, you know what I mean? But I'm just at the stage in my life, I don't prefer a lot of frivolous female friendships. Because to me, it's like, what's the point? You know,
Yeah.
like I don't want
Yeah.
them taking up residence in my soul. You know, so that in the event that if God wanted to send me a wife or some, or position a wife for me, I wouldn't want that person taking up space. These, I don't even want to say it that way. It's gonna sound mean. But these miscellaneous female friends. You know what I mean? Like in the world, I used to love that stuff, but it's like at some point you get focused, and it's just like I don't need this extra connection that I have. So I feel like as a guy, I have to be modest in my personality. You know, and that could just be a personal thing because I don't have the muscles for a muscle shirt, so I don't own any muscle shirts. But
if you know you're charming, you can flaunt your charm.
Yeah, you can flaunt your charm. Yeah.
So you gotta be wise with things like some guys know they're charming, and they like use that to their advantage. You know,
Yeah.
who are not being modest.
Y'all enticed by what y'all see. We enticed by what y'all make us feel like by
Yeah,
talking and the way y'all treat us. So
yeah.
And I think even with women, there's a personality aspect too. Like most of it is sight, but there's also some charm with that too.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
true.
in terms of being flirtatious. You know, that flirting is. I don't even know if Christians are supposed to flirt. I don't think we are, but
because where's that? What is the motive?
Right.
I think everything is a heart thing. Everything is a heart thing.
Yeah.
What are your real motives? But I did want to say, like, before we get off, to any sisters that may be possibly struggling with modesty, or what's modest, or what I should wear, what I shouldn't wear, or what I should do, or what I shouldn't do in terms of makeup and stuff like that. Just seek the Lord, and He will make it known to you what He does not desire for you to do. Like, it'll be clear, you know. And also not to be bound by religiosity. Because I was bound by that for a very, very long time. And once I came to understand that it was a heart thing, and it was about motives, and just really let the Lord deal with me in terms of sanctification, and just being genuine with the Lord. Like, God, I like this. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not trying to be seductive, but if you feel as though it's not appropriate, like, just having that relationship with the Lord, like talking to Him, just like we sitting here talking right now. That was how I developed, or I came to understand what God. He started to show me. He'll tell you. He'll show you. Definitely. If it's something. And like Britt said, you'll feel it. Like, you'll know. Like, you have those convictions that this might not be the right outfit to wear. But I said all of that to say that there's a lot of standards, or so-called standards, of man-made traditions in the church nowadays about what we should look like, how we should dress, what we should wear, what we shouldn't wear, and a lot of stereotypes too about like weave and lashes or lipstick or certain things. I know the generation before, as they were a little less tolerant of certain things, and I'm not saying that holiness is always going to be right. Number one, that's period. I'm not saying that it's not good to be holy, but I mean, I think that the Lord allows us, gives us grace to be ourselves to a certain extent, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying just go all out and do whatever you want to do, just be the same way you were in the world. You're supposed to look different, we're supposed to act different, but your heart being cleansed will determine how soon that process happens. So people try to do it. Like, I tried to conform myself to what the church sisters look like because that's what they look like. But inside, I was still impure. So my motive for doing it wasn't because I wanted to please God, or because I was really understanding why I'm doing it. Like a kid, you tell a kid, go sit down, and they don't know why. But if you tell them, listen, I'm telling you to sit down because I asked you to stop and you was jumping on the bed, then that's different. You letting them understand why they're being sat down, or why they're being punished, as opposed to they just doing it because you told them to, or they trying to, So we can't try to be like other people, is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, you have to do it. It has to be organic, and the Lord has to deal with your heart to get you there. So if you're not all the way there yet, seek the Lord about it. Like, don't beat yourself up, because the enemy comes to condemn. He wants us to feel bad, and he'll everything you
Hooked
could
to
think
be
of.
there
I
for a long
probably.
time if
So
you can.
yeah, you know, everything you could think of. Like you're not really saved, and look how you look. You know, you look just like how you used to look, and you know, you want that dude to look holler at you. You know, you still trying to be. You know,
Yeah.
all of that will come to mind. But yeah, cast down every thought. And bring those thoughts into the subjection of Christ, because you're gonna get there. You know, just stay genuine, stay true. You're gonna get there.
Does anyone else have anything they want to say before
I'm sorry, I was like, right?
Nah, you
It was
good.
necessary.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing else.
Y'all good.
No.
Okay, well, listen, I thank everybody
Miss
for
Eden
joining
said, you know, do.
Yeah, it was like so good.
Yeah, she fell asleep. I guess.
She fell asleep.
She got on her little modest dress, y'all.
Yeah.
With her little bow.
So
Say hi,
that's the
Eden.
special
I don't know if
guest.
they could, okay,
They might not. Well, I don't know. I can't see. But
Oh, they can't
yeah.
Yeah. So God is just so good.
Amen.
Just sit down.
Good discussion,
Glory to
fruitful
God.
discussion. Like I said, I'm just asking questions and taking notes. But, you know, impromptu discussion. And I'm glad that we were able to come on here and at least talk about it, because we got 3 different perspectives, you know, from sisters in Christ. And I know that many other perspectives out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm grateful that y'all just, you know, that we just kind of organically decided to come on here and talk about it. So I thought it was a fruitful discussion.
Yeah.
So listen, that's all we have, family, in this solid talk. You know, signing off again. I see the question. I'm gonna go back and reread them later on. But I thank y'all for asking questions and stuff like that. It's very fruitful. They said she's so adorable. Moni E said that. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. We're going to call it a night. That's all I have. You all take care and be blessed.
God bless you.
God bless you.